Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of TXR. A great way to kick back, relax, and end off the week right and start the next one off on the right foot. I'm your host, the ever charming Invader, and we've got a really packed show for you. But before we begin, I'd like to let everyone know about our giveaway. We're giving away an EXA 7.1 surround sound gaming headset. There's a link provided in the description on how to enter and ways to participate, so definitely share that out around. And without further delay, let's start to introduce our panel of badassery. Jeremy, the epic downer, how's it going, bud?
You said exciting, but it's really not exciting yet, so I don't know.
Dang, man, you took your downer pills a little early, huh?
What you should have said is that it's not exciting yet. That's what you should have said.
Okay, well, I'll learn. I'll learn as we go along. I'm sorry, Jeremy, that I don't live up to your expectations.
Oh my God.
But how are you doing, my friend?
Doing good, bud. How you doing in Canada?
I'm in the middle of a snowstorm right now with 100-kilometer winds, so it's kind of interesting at the moment.
It's beautiful in California right now. I mean, I got some nice weather.
Well, please share that with me. I could really use it right now.
Well, it's 60 degrees, and today was very sunny. No clouds whatsoever. We had a lot of rain recently, but it was good. We need the rain. Bring the rain.
Well, us in the Northeast could really use that weather right about now. I think we'll take anything at this moment, right, Tim?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, rain now, but it better be sunny in June. That's all that matters. Rain. Rain in Cali.
I'll take it. Megatron, how's things at your end, bud?
What's going on, everybody? I'm feeling a hell of a lot better than I did last week. I still got a little bit of a cough, but I'm ready to get the show started and talk about a bunch of stuff.
I think your son wants to take your place over there, buddy. I think
you guys hear that, huh?
He's actually more talkative than you are. You should bring him on.
That's little Willow, I think.
Very nice, very nice. Tim, how are you doing, bud?
How you guys doing? Happy to be here. Another week, another TXR. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. It's going to be pretty deep topics.
Yeah, after our talk last week, there was just a slew of things. And just to let everyone know, South is running a bit delayed at the moment. He decided to head northbound instead of south. But, hey, we'll see him soon. And Agent Bartram is not around at the moment. But, hey, he'll be back soon before you know it. But, anyways, on to our first topic. And let's see. So, a little while ago, we were discussing the possibility of Xbox Live services on the Nintendo Switch. And now there's rumors swirling about Microsoft working with Nintendo to bring games and services to the Switch. We got sources saying that Ori and the Blind Forest will make its way to the Switch. And then following this, Microsoft will release an Xbox app on the Switch. And hey, it'll allow Game Pass services, and really not much is really known at this point, but it's suggested that this would be through the xCloud streaming service. Guys, what do you think about this? Could Microsoft and Nintendo be like really this close to making this happen?
Let's make it happen. Make it happen, man. A guy like myself working all those hours, 10, 15 hours a day, I would love to be able to play my Xbox games on my Nintendo Switch because I don't really play it that much. I've had my Switch, I guess, since launch, and I haven't played it in quite a while. It's been at least 8 months since I touched the thing. So now I have a reason. I mean, there's plenty of content on the Switch, of course, but just I would love to be able to play my stuff on the go. And the Switch, I think, is kind of a great platform to be able to do that on.
Yeah,
and amongst other things.
If there's one thing that Nintendo does well, obviously, it's the first party, but it's lack of third-party support. So if you look at the trend with like other systems, prior systems, with the Wii and the Wii U, and now with the Switch, Nintendo has really had a lackluster third-party support or lineup, I should say, and that's basically what hurt Nintendo over the years. So I don't know about the app's gonna come. I think the app's gonna come. As far as Game Pass being a thing on Nintendo, I don't think so. I mean, that's just my opinion, but again, you won't see a traditional Xbox Live functionality running on the Switch. But I think what you most likely would see was probably like a Minecraft type Xbox Live function where you sign in to your actual, you sign into the game that you're using, whether it's Gears of War. I'm just throwing it out there, Gears of War. I still think Sea of Thieves could be seen on the Switch one day. I'm just throwing it out there, but I think Sea of Thieves could be a thing later on down the line with the Switch. And I think eventually you're going to see older titles and games coming to Switch. I think the current Switch needs to be boosted a little bit. Obviously, the infrastructure is not there. What I mean by that is, faster bandwidth speed, capabilities. I mean, the Nintendo Online service needs to be vastly, greatly upgraded, faster processor, et cetera, et cetera. And just an overall more powerful system. I think Nintendo needs that. I think it's going to be easy for Nintendo to transition into they were talking about Nintendo Switch Pro. I don't know if they'll call it that, but I'm just saying, just by replacing the actual system, now all your controllers and your docking station, everything will be compatible with the Switch, and all you really have to do is just swap it out for a more powerful a tablet. I call it a tablet because that's what it essentially is. And obviously all your accessories would work on it. But I think Xbox would be the first company to also be a third-party publisher. I really do think so. And I don't really count Nintendo as a third-party publisher. Yeah, it creates mobile games, but I don't think they're traditionally a traditional third-party publisher. I think Xbox, with Phil wanting to reach 2 billion people, I think you're going to see Xbox be a third-party publisher in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to also create maybe 1 or 2 studios that work directly with these ports on these systems, so they can create 1 or 2 people. I'm sorry, 1 or 2 studios primarily developing those types of games, like the old Gears of War. Obviously, you won't throw all your resources into Rare making Sea of Thieves. You'd have somebody else do the port to that game. So I think that's more feasible than some of the heavier, like the Coalition creating a Gears game.
Right.
I think you're going to see 1 or 2 studios create those back games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, it's interesting that Microsoft would be the one. I mean, according to the rumor, anyways, that Microsoft would go this route. You would think that companies like Google or Amazon would be more approaching Nintendo about this. So it's interesting that you got a console maker like Microsoft, who they're in competition with Nintendo and Sony, that they're in talks and are so close to Nintendo with this.
Yeah, absolutely. If they are, I mean, is it confirmed that they're in talks with them? Or is it just a rumor right now, Tim?
Honestly, this has been rumored for a long time, but
yeah,
this is going to happen. I think this week, the first thing that came out was there was a panel at GDC labeled crossplay between Xbox, PC, mobile, iOS, Android, and the Switch. Now, that was taken down because people started speculating, what does this mean? Myself included, I didn't know what this means. Now, the latest round of Switch, which I think comes from another cupcake, not DocCupCake, but Doc Robertson Cupcake, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is that Game Pass is going to come to the Switch, which that's the one that I have a question mark about. Ori and the Blind Forest, a native game that's going to be made by a third-party developer. It's not going to be made by Moon Studios. It's another one, and a couple of older indie games will be ported over, like Cuphead, to the Switch. That's all true. So I'm going to say it's 99% going to happen. I really feel confident that that's going to happen. The Game Pass thing, that's a question mark. What this tells me is that Game Pass is going to be, you're going to have xCloud attached to your Game Pass subscription. What that means is that you'll pay $10.99 for Game Pass a month, or $110 over a year. What that includes is all your Game Pass games, and you can play them via whatever device you want. And that will include the Switch. So Sea of Thieves, you mentioned, that's in the game catalog of Game Pass. I think that you're going to be able to play it. Now, I don't know if you're going to get full xCloud on the Switch, because games like Call of Duty, let's say, I mean, it's pretty crazy, but they'll be getting Call of Duty via Xbox, and it'll have voice functionality and chat functionality all involved. How is that going to break down when they're calling with cell phones right now, or the way they tell you to chat is some crazy antiquated way?
Right.
But it could be that that's where Xbox is giving them a benefit, where they can let them play third party, play games like Call of Duty. But my guess is it's going to be xCloud in combination with Game Pass. So that's not going to be the whole xCloud. Is not going to be on Switch, just Game Pass with that xCloud functionality. So you could play Sea of Thieves on the Switch. You could play certain games via the xCloud. This is very crazy stuff. I mean, to even think about how it would work, or is it being built in? Yeah, I do think that this is all being worked on, and this is to be honest, when I saw it all come up this week, I thought that the reaction would be very bad. But what I saw was, it was kind of weird, was a lot of people are interested in it. They're like, hey, this is just another way to play my games. And people are saying, oh, well, you lose all your exclusives. Not really. You're just having a way to play your exclusive digital content that you own on another device. For me, I have a Switch. I haven't touched a Switch. I have it. Yeah. I will probably use it if I can, play a couple of games on the run. Yeah. And it might actually make me buy more Nintendo stuff because I'm on the thing. So it works out for both Nintendo and Xbox. I really think Xbox has went across the aisle here, and
absolutely.
They're going to go in there with Nintendo. And I think this is all true now. As long as they make, as I made this clear, as long as they make games for Xbox, and that they're doing with the 13 studios, and I want to see that grow, even the studios, more now because of this news. And you make consoles, you're in with me, because I like the experience of what Xbox brings, and I like the setup, and that for me, that's perfect. But if you can't,
it makes me wonder though, like if Nintendo is coming out with another console. There are rumors of them coming out with another handheld console.
Supposedly it's just Nintendo's notorious. They'll just make a little bit of a screen change, and it's really the same system. Does a couple of things, but I heard it's going to be an OLED screen on the new Switch.
It needs.
I just want to know if they're going to make something where it's easier, where they can connect. Xbox Live integrates easier with it.
Yeah, I don't know how that's all going to work. That's a good question. I mean, how does it work? Does anybody on the panel know how it works right now?
Yeah, so all you do is, like, if you're playing Minecraft right now, are you talking about the Nintendo Online, or are you talking
Let's say I want to play Call of Duty. Let's pretend that xCloud is on the Switch. Or no, just pretend that you want to play a Nintendo game with your friend on Go multiplayer on it. How does it work? Minecraft, you want to play Switch, Minecraft on the Switch, and you want to talk, and how does that work?
Well, when you log on to Nintendo Online, it asks you if you want to create like there's like a little link or a button where you click online and you can it's only in game. You can't really party chat with friends. I haven't used it in a while, so it could have updated and added that functionality to it, but it's only in game. You can't do it outside the game.
Right, you can't be on the interfaces.
No.
You can't be sitting there on a dashboard and somebody else is on the dashboard and still be in the party.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but again, I haven't tried in a while, so I don't know if they updated or integrated that into the Switch. So I couldn't tell you. All I know is, when I go on online and play Splatoon, it's it's only for specific games.
Now, do you use your cell phone or can you use a headset? Is there an auxiliary? Is there something for a headset on it?
Yeah, so it's the standard 3.5, so you can essentially use a headset with your cell phone. So that's how it works. So
now, would you think that now to access the Game Pass, do you think you'll still need Xbox Live for that?
It's a good question too. That this is where one of my biggest questions is what's the pricing going to be, and how is this all going to intertwine? Is it going to be able to have Game Pass, or do I have to have Xbox Live too, or is it something where if I just have a Game Pass I can play? I don't know how is xCloud going to be tied in? Is xCloud going to be a separate fee? So
you know what? I think Xbox Live might be free one day. And think about it. If you're going to be signing on to games like Minecraft or Xbox games, you're going to want the most, the most users. So, they're going to have to create an account, obviously, and go to the Microsoft website, create a Microsoft account, and basically create a silver Xbox Live account. And I don't know how everything is going to play out, but I mean, I think it's going to be free eventually. What do you think?
It's possible, but that'd be very, very aggressive, and I would love to see it. I just don't think that they'll be able to really push away that revenue. I think that they could be really creative with the xCloud and somehow include it with certain services.
Yeah.
Having it as a third pay model is a little risky. Because you got me a Game Pass. At this point, they have me solidified a Game Pass. I'm in there. I like it. I like the games.
Yeah.
It gives me Crackdown. I still haven't bought, but I bought Exodus because the reason why I didn't buy Crackdown was because I have Game Pass. And you know what? I'll buy Crackdown, but probably buy Crackdown in the holiday when it's $20. So for me, Game Pass has been completely good. Now, obviously, you need Xbox Live. Most people, you can buy Xbox Live for $49 to $39 if you do your homework.
Yeah.
If you're paying $60, it's just because you're renewing. But if you look around and you're a little bit on top of it, you can pretty much get it for that. But if they did lose Xbox Live and they made it for free and they somehow made like Xbox Game Pass the all access, that might work too, because now you have $100 subscription year compared to a $60 subscription year. Yeah. So it's possible they might say Xbox Live is xCloud, Game Pass, and everything all included, and it's
well, they're going to have to, because the current model doesn't work. I mean, you can't pay. I mean, it's a lot of money. You think about it,
but they're making the money. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Xbox Game Pass has been very successful, and that's another subscription cost. So, you're right. Is it a little bit much? That's what I'm saying. If you have 3 pay models, it's a lot. It's kind of like something like you look after a year, you look at your bills and be like, hey, man, this is a little bit too much. So I do believe they have an opportunity to be creative here and to be aggressive at the same time and actually help, make an affordable solution that they can actually pull in revenue that's better for them too. So I do believe it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious on how they're going to do it.
It looks like xCloud. I heard Brad Sams and I talked to a couple of people. Looks like xCloud is being prepped out for the end of the year now. They were talking about the earlier of the year. I don't think that's happening. I do think that you'll hear about it fully at E3. I'm hoping they pack this E3. Sorry about that. They pack this E3, and they make it 2 hours, and it's action packed with announcements. And I do believe if they just don't even announce anything right now, they could do that.
Absolutely. Now, does this lessen the value of the actual Xbox when we're talking about this stuff, or is this just another value-added service, possibly?
I wouldn't think so. I just think it's just, if you want to play it on the best way possible, you buy the strongest hardware that would be able to do it. And if you want to play things on the go, it's just, I think it's the best. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. I have such.
No, I understand.
1 second. Hold on.
I understand what Megatron is saying. He's basically saying, it's an option, and if you want to play it best, you can play it on PC. If you want to play it at 4K, possibly 60, on your television, on a sleek console that you can put underneath your entertainment center, like most people do, play it from there. If you want to play it at the doctor's office, or on a plane, or wherever, for me, it's like it's not. I don't want to sound like poo-pooing the fanboy argument, because this is the fanboy argument, and it does come down to that, where if you're a fanboy of Xbox, would you be attacking this if this was another system? Absolutely, you would. But if it's kind of like a fanboy argument that's lost, but it's really not becoming like to me, it's like morphine, and at least in my mind and thinking about it, it's not like exclusive content to that console, but it's really becoming your digital exclusive content that belongs to you. And that's exclusive to the person, and that's exclusive to that experience. So if I want that type of experience where I have 800 games and I can play all those 800 games at any time, anywhere, that's pretty in itself. It's exclusive in a way, because nobody else is doing it this way.
Yeah,
and I think that Xbox might actually, they might be on the right path with this. As crazy, I mean, if I was a part of that table and they brought this up, I probably would have laughed and said, "You guys are a joke. This is it." But if you really look at it and you hear what Phil says, and you're the center of the gamer, and of course that's stuff to make you want to buy things, and of course it's a business and they want you to buy games. But if you listen to that and you really look at it, at the end of the day, it's not about a fanboy argument on Twitter. It's about you and your content and what you want to do with it when you're wherever you are. If you want to play it in a pool because you don't want to go in the pool, and you have your Switch, and now it's a Switch, does it really matter? You have an internet connection, you connect, and you can play Mortal Kombat 10 on Game Pass. Like, what's wrong with that? What is bad about that?
Yeah, nothing's bad with it.
Perfect.
Well, it's true. And there's obviously limitations to the Switch. Like, it's not the most powerful. You're gonna, obviously, if you have an Xbox, you're gonna use an Xbox One X or One S, for those capabilities and so on. It's just, obviously, it's the convenience of it, taking your library with you. It's, we wouldn't have thought of this going back to 2013. And it's amazing where we are now with the technology and how the companies are talking to each other. But anyways, guys, I think we're going to move on to the next topic. And earlier this week, the rumor mill was swirling about Scalebound possibly being resurrected. Now, what makes this rumor even more interesting is that the game would be picked up by Nintendo and made into a Switch exclusive. Guys, do you think this is a thing, or do you think it's too far-fetched?
Man.
I don't know.
I know. Who thought we'd be talking about Scalebound?
I want the game to be made. I was one of the few people that was looking forward to Scalebound, but I don't know what the relationship is with the developer right now at Microsoft. Microsoft still owns the IP? Yes?
Correct.
No? Yes.
Do they?
They do.
Okay.
Yes, and being that they didn't they didn't renew the trademark license does not mean they lose IP. A lot of people believe that. That is not the truth. IP, intellectual property, has more facets than just a trademark that you renew. They absolutely own the IP. If they sold the IP to Nintendo, it's stupid because it just shows that you try to make a game, you couldn't make it work, but Nintendo here comes in, makes it work, and you really couldn't put a value on that. The just the way that it looks and this message you're sending to fans is horrendous. And also the game was in a really bad state, running on more powerful hardware. So this actually happening is maybe 10%, I would say 5%. It could possibly be like somebody else was saying, they took some elements, they threw it in the game, they renamed the game. I don't think you can see Scalebound.
Yeah, you're not going to see that online vast open world component to the game. I think you're going to see a scaled down version of the game. I'm not sure what. I mean,
what was it? Did they say they were having problems with it anyway because the hardware was not strong enough? I mean, rumor has it that they said it wasn't. So now all of a sudden the Switch is strong enough, and then it's Platinum Games.
No, they were having issues. They were having issues just with the development cycle in general, and it'll be interesting what they can do with less powerful hardware. Who knows? But is it going to be rebooted?
Yeah, I don't think so. If Microsoft, the only way that it really goes to, these are the possible ways it could happen. If Scalebound IP was sold outright, and Xbox was saying, "Thanks for letting me put it on xCloud. And guess what? You can have Scalebound. We'll sell it to you." If they did that, which is naive and stupid, and let Nintendo take it and do whatever they want with it, that's on Xbox, because that's just self-inflicted. That's not a smart move. That sends the wrong message, as I pointed out. The other way it possibly could happen is to say, "Hey, we'll start production on it again, and we'll put it on Switch as well as Xbox, and we'll all get the game, and we'll rebuild it." The chances of that, again, are very unlikely. The reason why they broke up, or the reason why this all fell through, there is some real shady stuff that's out there that you can't even bring up, because it's baseless, but there's real dirty stuff behind why this game, what happened with this game, and some of the things that were said. So I don't see them rekindling that relationship and visiting. So like I said, the chances of this are very unlikely. I know Z Huge said it was unlikely. That guy, the other Cupcake, Doc Robertson, said that it was unlikely. And I just thought that was a crazy rumor at the time, and then it just morphed into the other news, which we're going to go into later on another topic, and obviously the switch to Xbox.
You know what is funny is, why are we even talking about? Why is this news? Because people were so salty, and if you guys remember the chaos that ensued because Scalebound was canceled. The internet broke that day. I remember it. People were just talking about it, and they were just so mad and yelling at Phil. Oh, they were going crazy.
Well, apparently nobody wanted it, but everybody wanted to talk about it at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember at E3.
Any reason to hate Microsoft, it feels like. I think that's what it is, man.
So now you see those rumors return, but on a different platform.
Yeah, everyone loves it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember you were down on the game. I remember you're a very tough critic, but I remember you were like that was just a waste of time. This is that trailer was horrible.
The last trailer was awful, and and
it got that reception too. Because I looked, it's funny because the cancellation thread was like 80 pages. The E3 thread that showed the game off was like 10 pages, like 7 pages, and it was all negative and all like you know, I don't care about this game. This looks horrible. Its frame rate's horrible. That was such an uninspired trailer, and that's what was said at the time. There was not a lot of people. There was no hype. I remember there was no hype for that game at E3. I remember seeing it out in E3 at the Expo, and they were showing like all their games, and it was Sea of Thieves, and you know whatever Gears, I guess that was out. Nobody was talking about Scalebound on the thing. Nobody was like, "Oh man, that looks sick."
Well, what was initially shown looked great. The open world, the free roaming with the dragon coming in, and that looked fantastic. It looked like a you know, like a Fantasy Star Online-ish type game with dragons and had RPG elements, but it brought that Devil May Cry feel to it, which it's the same. I believe it's the same developer, right? That made
well, it was Platinum.
One of the guys. I think one of the guys worked on Devil May Cry.
But you're right. It was supposedly meshing that all in on an RPG level. And it didn't help that Ken Lobb came on the show and he was like saying it was the most amazing thing that he've ever seen, and you know he basically said that, and then that's what happened. I heard people who saw the game running at a show that was before E3, I guess that January. They said the game was just really running rough, 15 to 20 frames per second, just dropping. Yeah.
Ooh, that's rough. But even a former Platinum creator director, he didn't believe it, any of these rumors. So that was interesting. And, you got to look at, Nintendo has all kinds of IP that they want to resurrect. Apparently, according to other rumors that kind of go into the Scalebound rumors, that they're going to be resurrecting a dead property of some sort. And a lot of people think it is Scalebound. But there's so many other games that they could resurrect. And for it to be Scalebound, like that's a Microsoft property, I just find it very confusing how this even got started. It's just interesting that it's Scalebound, and everybody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
But hey, you never know. It could even be the part of this whole what we were talking about before about Microsoft and Nintendo getting friendly. You never know, right? It could be resurrected, but I don't know. I have my doubts on this, but we'll see, right?
Right.
Absolutely. So moving on, guys, enough of the Scalebound talk. A few days ago, moving on to the next topic, French gaming site Jeux Vidéo said that it had specs for the next Xbox consoles, Lockhart and Anaconda. Now, Lockhart is seeming to forgo a disk drive, as we all know, focused on streaming, and the Anaconda being more of the high-end device. Now, both, according to these specs, would have 8 custom cores at 16 Zen threads, and both having a 1 terabyte solid-state drive. Lockhart's GPU will supposedly be 4 teraflops, and Anaconda's a massive 12 teraflops. And as far as RAM goes, Lockhart will supposedly have 12 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, and Anaconda will have 16. Now, the site is also reporting that we will see these Scarlet family of devices announced at this E3. Now, do you guys think that these stats are reasonable when looking at compared to the Xbox One X?
I'm not the tech guy, but I hope the Anaconda stats are true. As far as the Scarlet, I mean, it's lower than the X1X, so I kind of question it a little bit. But I hope so.
I still don't think Scarlet's a thing. I mean,
no,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Now that's no disk drive with the Scarlet, right? Or is that going to be something?
Well, it's the Scarlet family. Supposedly, this Scarlet is a family of consoles, both including the Anaconda and the Lockhart. The Lockhart is the lower end, and the Anaconda is the higher end. Think Xbox One S.
No, there's no third device. There's not going to be a third device. It's going to be diskless. So that's pretty much done. Or is that still a possibility for this year?
Well, it's not 100%, but from what we know, it's going to be the Lockhart's going to be the diskless one, the cheaper alternative, and the Anaconda is going to be that higher end one.
Okay.
But I mean, as far as the stats go, I mean, if you're doubling, if not more, on the Xbox One X, I mean, that's pretty impressive to me. Again,
Right.
these are just supposedly these are leaked specs, but you know, that's a pretty hefty console there when you consider the improvements that the Xbox One X made.
So my question to you guys is, why would they replace the X with a well, it's going to be a cheaper system, obviously, with the Lockhart or Scarlet, whatever the hell you want to call it. The Anaconda is real. I think the 16 gigabytes of ROM, 12 teraflops, 16 Zen, whatever you want to put in it, is a real thing. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to see the Xbox One X be the second option. It's basically going to be the second option. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Are they going to get rid of the disk drive altogether? I mean, who knows?
Possible. Do you think that we could see an Xbox One X console without a disk drive?
Yeah, like I stated before, I mean, but the US is the only country I think that's ready for to go away from not having this and be digital only. So Mexico, I mean, I think the US runs at what, like 70-30, as far as the percentage of people that download only, and then 30% still use the standard disk drive on their games. In Mexico and places like Mexico and Europe, it's a lot higher. I think Mexico runs at maybe like a 50-40. I'm not sure. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I couldn't tell you, but um, if it's gonna happen, I think it's gonna happen U.S. only. I don't know. So
Well, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have two SKUs. The 250 model is not going to have a disc, and the Anaconda will have a UHD drive. That's what I think some of the rumors point to, but it also makes sense because 250 you can save some money not including that, and they probably will have the S2 and stuff like that for sale too. I do think that one of them might be diskless, to be honest.
Well, that would
We'll
be
know at
interesting.
E3, right? We'll know at E3, hopefully.
Well, they're supposedly, yeah. I mean, that's another thing. We talk about xCloud and X thing and how these things are going to play out. I mean, I've never seen a situation where now you're going to have two consoles, possibly a third in Maverick, and you're also going to have X, and Xbox One S, and you're going to have all these models. Like, are you going to condense it down? Are you going to discontinue the X? Are you going to have a disc in the for the Lockhart? You know what I mean? So these are questions that all need to be answered, and that's why I think E3 is going to be such a informative time, because they got to get those answers at that point. And I do think that this is going to happen at E3. I think they're going to lay all their cards on the table.
Absolutely. Well, it'll be interesting to see what pops up, right? But moving on, because we have a lot of other topics to cover. Now, so Anthem is now officially released, and it's been having a bit of a rough launch, to say the least. Most reviews have not been positive, with issues of loading screens, progression, bad loot, and bad AI, and just a whole bunch of bugs. Now, panel, has anyone here been playing it? And if so, what are your impressions?
yeah, so I've been playing it the most. I think Megatron's played a little bit. I'm not sure if Tim's played it.
Are we talking about Anthem? Because I
Yeah.
don't know what I just did, but I actually left left YouTube and got back in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just started.
And I'm not
Rookie
sure if
move.
you dabbled, but I've played a total of about 24 hours in Anthem. I love it. I think it nails the 10-second of fun loop with great gameplay mechanics. It's not quite as good as Destiny as far as the mechanics go, because Destiny's mechanics were really solid. But it's good. It's great. The game is deep enough to keep me interested. I think the world's great. The gods, the factions, the monsters that you fight in it. the items that you get. Yeah, I mean, the weapons are something left to be desired because I just got my first masterwork gun in the game, and it has a different artwork in it.
Nice.
You can't see it because it's it's third person. You could see it, but it's not as bold as it would be in first person when you view it. There's some nice effects with the weapons, but I think more
those
importantly,
graphics, man.
yeah,
the graphics,
yeah,
though, like
the
I'm pulled in.
graphics are fantastic. The particle effects, the lighting effects in some areas are fantastic. More importantly, I think it has a good story. It has a good cast of characters. I'm not going to ruin the story for everybody, but I'm going to say that the lore in Anthem is something very cool in regards to like the freelancers and how everything shapes out. And I give the game an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, is the hoopla on the internet warranted? I would say yes, from a bugs standpoint, because I purchased some shards for some cosmetic items. I purchased it was quite a bit. It was like $37 worth of cosmetic items or shards. I'm sorry. And I have yet to see them in my account. So
you got robbed.
Yeah, I got robbed basically, and no answers. What's even worse is no answers from EA. Xbox didn't want to refund my purchase that I made because it doesn't. Obviously for those types of like coins and stuff like that, they do not refund for those types of that type of digital content.
Right.
So basically, I'm asked out until EA can figure out either
it'll just pop there. It'll pop.
Yeah, either they fix the bug. Some earlier bugs I couldn't talk. There was this one guy I refer to him as the devil. I don't even want to talk because every time you click on that guy, it'd crash your game. So in game when you're talking to the guy, it completely crash your game that you're playing. You couldn't even speak. You can't even have the old dialogue options to speak with them. So those were the type of bugs that you'd run into. The loading times aren't a big deal anymore. I mean, I don't know the whole.
Yeah, I think that's overblown. I think
it's overblown. It's overblown.
Gamers need to shut up about they act like they're so entitled that they can't wait 30, 40 seconds. I understand that a loading screen can be annoying, but let's not say it's a bug or say it's game breaking. It's just obviously what it's doing. I never understood the loading thing. Maybe it's because I could divert my attention for the 30 seconds and I could do something else. But the loading critiques that this has gotten, I feel like has been a little harsh and overboard.
They're not that bad. They fixed some of the issues with it. Especially with the loading times, they're not that bad. They're acceptable. The newer games like Metro and stuff like those have long. I don't know if you've played Metro yet. That has a 2 to 3 minute loading screen initially when you load up and you boot up the game. So a lot of these games, I think everybody just likes to pick on a title now. Pick on EA.
Well, if they get it's like it's either going to be a honeymoon or it's going to be a slaughter. And so if they taste blood, they're just going to go after it. But if they want to like the game, if they just for whatever reason, if they want to like it because it's a producer they like or something, they sure do. I've seen things go on there where you have a big honeymoon going on, but. Other than that, my feeling on Anthem is that I'm not going to play it until it builds up content, and hopefully the single player portion of the game gets a little more robust. I heard it's not that bad right now, but I'm just waiting on the title. I think what it's doing graphically is commendable and people shouldn't lose that in all of this. It is doing some pretty amazing things graphically. But my overall feel is I'm going to wait for the game, and I just don't like. I thought maybe this would be different, but I've come to the conclusion, like games like Destiny, when it becomes this multiplayer game, when it it starts off kind of single player-ish, and you could do your thing, and then, or at least in Destiny 2's case, it just became this full-blown multiplayer world. I don't like that. I don't like having to play with somebody when I'm a 10 level and they're a 30, and the game gets accelerated because they're playing with me on their level. And
you prefer the Sea of Thieves approach, to where everybody's on a level playing field.
Honestly, in a way, yeah. I don't like it. Even Crackdown, I had this happen to me where I played with, and it wasn't his fault. I played with Noah, and he is a very good player.
Yeah.
And literally played with him for an hour and a half. And after I was done with the game and came in with my character again, the whole map was blue. The guy basically just leveled my world in
Wow.
very quick. Like, he just took out everything. We took out bosses, but that was because he was super powered and he was super good. But sometimes I do believe with these type games, with that type of progression, it gets kind of lost in there. And I just don't like. I like the setup where you build up from the bottom and you kind of build it up. So for me, even Division 2 could suffer from that. I'm beginning to shy away from these games, or not make them day ones. I'll get them, but I'll just get them on sale. I'll get them whenever.
Mm-hmm. Now, if Anthem fails, will BioWare continue on? Because we've seen, look how BioWare Montreal, they put out Mass Effect Andromeda, and it had really subpar reviews. It kind of soured that franchise, and they got kind of sorted into EA Motive. They don't even exist anymore.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you look at, I try not to use it, but if you look at Metacritic, it's getting Anthem. It's getting a lower Metacritic than Mass Effect Andromeda. So how do you guys observe this? If Anthem fails, will BioWare continue?
Well, BioWare will continue. It's just with EA. That's the question.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a thing? Because I'm hearing rumors already that EA wants out. The EA wants BioWare to be out now, because it's just a mess right now, and it's not a good look. It's never a good look on EA. EA has been on the shit list for everybody for about a good year or two now. They're like the bane of everybody's. What would you call it?
Yeah, no, they become the most hated.
It's probably the most hated gaming division or gaming company of all time right now.
Now, let me ask you a question. We're talking about, this is a very good question by the host and Invader, but my question to you is, if they are in trouble and doesn't sell, if you're Xbox, would you go after them?
Oh yeah, I would go after BioWare, because you would see the old, some of the older BioWare employees come back to the company. A lot of them left. You'd see them come back, and I think BioWare would be renewed and kind of invigorated. And I think it'd just be a good move for them to just cut ways, kind of like Bungie did with Xbox and Activision. When you get those kind of breaks and you get those kind of opportunities, you kind of, as a company, you feel new again, and you feel like you have the creative freedom now to create the products that you want.
Time. It seems like it's all about time. They don't have the time to make the games that they need to make. So,
right. It does have a thing that it has going for it, is that it's a really played game, meaning it's a type of game like Destiny. When it came out, it had, I believe, a 77 Metacritic, or 74. It went down. It was very low, or it was low for that type of title. But that didn't affect Destiny sales. Destiny sales were just out of this
monster.
World.
Yeah.
I do feel that this game could still sell a lot, because A lot of people play it. Look, you're even buying things already for it. Uh, People are like really,
It's the new
It's
thing.
a
It's world building. It's world building, right?
you know,
It starts off slow. You see your thieves. You got Rainbow Six Siege.
but the thing, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, in a great position. It's in a better position now than Destiny was. And this is my opinion. I mean, my opinions were shit,
Mhm.
but it's in a better position now. It has the game mechanics. It has that 10-second loop. It has characters. It has a great world. It has a good story. That's something that Destiny didn't have. It didn't have great
Mhm.
characters. It didn't have a good story. That's already built into the
Mhm.
Anthem world. Now all they need to do is just add these couple things, and it'd be a great game. Like I said, 8.5 out of 10. I do recommend a purchase on this game. It's a very good game, and
yeah, I've seen a lot of people say the same thing. Like I've
yeah,
seen Zaire say how good it is, and he's usually very tough on games. But
Mhm.
I wanted to say this. Mike is Ybarra is he's a big Anthem fan. He knows it has its problems, but when he made his comment and about the reviewer that caused kind of such a stir, I felt it was kind of manufactured by the stir that it created. But that was Mike not talking. I want to make this point clear because I do know Mike and I know how he is. Um, that was not anything to do with Crackdown 3 reviews or the fact that some people were saying it was a co-marketed Xbox game. That is all bullshit. Mike is just an Anthem fan. Okay, when Crackdown 3 came out, the night of Crackdown 3, Mike was streaming Anthem. That's and I even said
Nonstop.
that
He was going nonstop with that.
So he was just talking as a fan, and I think that people are allowed to criticize others that criticize. They're not above it all, in my opinion. I don't think that his comments were deserve that type of pushback. Do feel like he kind of got to a bit of a pork, like they were just going after him.
Mm.
And but for the record, he's just a huge Anthem fan, and my point is that it has a lot of those Anthem fans, like people like who like the game are like all about it, like yourself, Mike, Zaire, or I've said other people are playing it. So I do think that this game could potentially do very well still, in despite of the reviews.
right.
Absolutely. But I guess I could see it's interesting where BioWare is at the moment. I mean,
Oh yeah, big time.
yeah, like I don't know, especially with how EA is the past couple of years. And you look at all these bugs and glitches that have been prevalent in the EA games recently. It seems to be from the Frostbite engine, DICE's Frostbite engine. And is it smart for them to use it across all their games because it's been prevalent in obviously Battlefield, it's notorious for it, Mass Effect Andromeda, and I think they're going to be moving forward with Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare and a few other games. Should they keep using this engine? Guys?
I was
Who knows?
I was gonna say it. I don't think I don't really know if it's the engine problem. I don't know. I think that in the Anthem case, these type of games that they get released are not really finished at launch, and it's sad because they kind of just launch kind of bare bones, and then in a year it's an awesome game. So I don't know. I don't think I mean, they've even went Frostbite for their football and basketball game, and I don't think it really made that much of a difference. But no, for me, I don't think it's. I think it's more of a developer issue than the actual engine running.
I think Unity is more of a disaster than Frostbite. I don't know if you guys remember all the the issues with the Unity engine.
Not exactly, but I'm just
I-
wondering if Frostbite's is like utilitarian. Like, how do I put it? I don't think it's as what Shizno said in the chat as universal as it should be. I think there are other engines more capable of doing it, whether it be Havoc,
Unreal.
yeah, Unreal. I just think there are more staple engines out there. Even the Cry engine. Like, I don't know if that Battlefield engine can really be passed around to other games, into RPGs and so on and so forth.
It's interesting. Yeah, they could have went with the Unreal, 4. They could have went with that, but yeah, that's an interesting point. That it definitely lends itself to Battlefield. But I'm sure that they're Frostbite was, when did it come out, in 2017? I'm sure with next generation that maybe there'll be a couple new engines on the way. I mean, you mentioned one of the Crytek engine. I mean, that's just sad that we don't get games from that, because to me, that, like, the lush forest environments and the things that you get are really stunning graphically, and unfortunately, you don't really have people using that engine. It's a great engine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, moving on to our next topic, it's a little bit of a changeover. A game designer at Tessera Studios says it's likely Microsoft will be sitting out on virtual reality next gen. Now, this studio has made a few PSVR games and would obviously be looking into what other consoles have in mind for the technology. And the dev states that no matter how much I ask, I never get any news on Microsoft from VR. Just some rumors on HoloLens 2, and it seems like they don't have much interest in VR, which is interesting because HoloLens 2 was just announced today, but at $3,500. But anyways,
Wow.
guys, do you think that this developer could be right about Xbox skipping on VR next gen?
Yeah, I mean, there's no sense of urgency on it. Why would you invest into VR? Why would you? It doesn't make sense right now. There's not really a giant market for it. I mean, yeah, you can. I mean,
mean, why
adopt
can't a
one
third
of these.
party, but no third party, person can come up with a VR headset for Xbox? I mean, I thought that was what was rumored way back when. Is that a
Well,
hard
they,
thing?
they were thinking about it, but it just didn't pan out. I think the guy's completely correct. Xbox, from what I've gathered, they will make a play on VR when it becomes
Yeah,
less wires.
and less
Uh,
expensive.
less. It's not really expensive. They don't want the
Yeah.
wires, and they think that it has to be lightweight. It can't be something that also uh, completely takes you out of the outside world. Meaning that when you use VR, you kind of can't. You have to sit down or stand up, and you don't know what you're doing. That proposes a problem to a lot of users, believe it or not, when they put their headset on. Like, if you have a kid, you can't do it because you got to watch the kid. You know what I mean? You can't just put it
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
So I think that those two barriers are what has Microsoft hands off on VR. And if we're being honest, the sales on VR are decent on Sony, but that's the only place where it's decent. And the software is, most of it is just, it's not really, aside from maybe Astrobot and a couple of other games, not setting any kind of new direction. It's kind of the same thing. So I do
I,
believe, yes,
Yeah.
that they're
I
out for EVR.
I enjoyed the experience with VR though, and there was only
Oh,
Sony.
it's a great experience.
I did, I used Sony's headset for the most part. The one I did at E3 last year wasn't so great, but I enjoyed Sony's. I mean, it wasn't the best, obviously, but I enjoyed that experience. It was only 15 minutes, but I kind of, speaking from the heart, I kind of want to see Xbox do something with VR, even
Yeah.
third party. I'm a little disappointed.
If you look at the companies that were initially on board with VR, saying how it's the future of gaming and it's going to be a huge hit,
Facebook.
and then they start developing games for it, and then
That's true.
they're off the ship. where are they now? Where they? I mean, they're not talking about it.
Facebook was one of the biggest. It went into Oculus. It's just
Yeah.
that I do think that the core problem is not a lot of people in this day and age want to put something on their head. Guys like here will love it and do it, but in the everyday person, I don't know if they're going to do that. Or they're going to how to hook that thing up. I mean, you look at PSVR, to hook it up is ridiculous. I mean, it's just enthusiast. For me, it's like an enthusiast popular item right now. I don't think that it's hitting the mass market.
I know what you're saying. It's more of a novelty than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not hitting the point where the market is definitely growing, but it's still not at a point where I think Xbox sees it viable to make money. Could they pull out a VR, and do it and then have studios work on it with one of their studios? They could, but I just, like I said, I don't see it. I know for a fact that they don't like the wires that are attached. Like, it has to be wireless.
How do you get away from those wires too? I mean, looking at it from, it's going to be hard.
In the future, it'll happen, but it'll happen via like a wireless connection or some type of strong wireless connection. But you're talking, maybe 5-10 years where, and also to run a VR game, again, especially now we're hitting the 4K, you have to do it
pretty hefty. Yeah,
you have to do it in 2 instances, and you have to do it per eye. And you can't have drops because you'll get sick. So there's a lot that's put into it, and I do commend Sony. For putting themselves in it, because they do make it viable. It's just, I can understand why Xbox is saying, hey, if we go in there, we're just going to get slaughtered.
Sony could have been in that position, say, hey, it's, you know what, we're just abandoning it, and with it, the people that use it. And they've done a good job in developing specific software for the VR headset, and the remote that they have. I mean, they've done a good job with it. Mm-hmm. It's just it's just a matter of whether or not people are gonna get into VR. And right now, over what's been 3 or 4 years, and it still is yet to make an impact on this industry. So will it ever? Who knows?
And joining us a little bit late, Southbound.
Hey, what's up, guys? Did you miss me?
Live and direct.
That's right. What did do?
Now we're just talking about how a dev was suggesting that Microsoft has no intention of doing VR, even though this dev would like to. Now, could this developer be right that Xbox is skipping on VR, South?
No, you know what? Of course. If they were gonna get involved with VR, they would already hinted at it, in the last couple years. I think that boat has sailed. That ship has sailed already.
Well, I mean, they have hinted at it. It's just they haven't.
They hinted at it. Like, what was the last thing we really heard about it? They were talking about Fallout, and now it's Fallout 4.
Yeah, and they talked about how Xbox One X would be.
Well, yeah, they said they could run it, but they never said, we're gonna have VR implemented. So, I mean, it was kind of like a fly-by-night mention. And that's as far as it went. So yeah, I don't think that Xbox is going to get in the VR game. If anything, it'll be like a third party situation where like Oculus or the Samsung deal runs on the Xbox. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't think the Xbox themselves would have a VR headset.
Right. Now, do you think that Xbox is missing out on some opportunities, some interesting game titles? Because to Sony's credit with the PSVR, there are a few interesting titles. There's Astrobot. I've played Moss, and the Gran Turismo with the headset's actually very nice. Do you think they're missing out on those experiences?
I think it's a little bit of a Monday morning quarterback. You know, yeah, of course you could sit and in hindsight say, man, you know, Xbox could have, you know, jumped on a train with, you know, Resident Evil and stuff like that. But you know what? I think they played around with the idea and they just come to the conclusion that they couldn't do a good enough job. So why dip your toe in the water if you know you're not going to be able to swim eventually?
Yeah, when they get to that point, I could see them dipping their toe. It might take a few years, as Tim and others have alluded to, you know, and Jeremy was talking about how they don't want wires. Phil's been very open about that. He doesn't like clunky stuff. As for myself, I don't like wires and
Who does?
clunky peripherals.
It definitely have to be wireless, you know, and how far are we from being a wireless, you know, VR headset? You know, that could be another 5, 6, 7 years before we can even get to something like that. You know, what kind of battery would it need? You know, what kind of sensors to pick up? You know, like I don't know. I'm not a very technical type of person, so I wouldn't even know where to begin with something like that. But it seems to me like it's kind of the risk is not worth the reward in the end, in my opinion.
Now, as Peter has said in the chat, the Project Scorpio, obviously Xbox One X, was made out to be VR ready, and they've pretty much backtracked with that, and they haven't mentioned it a lot. Do you feel like they missed out the opportunity there? Do you think that they bit off more than they could chew?
No, because they kind of they didn't. It wasn't like a major announcement. It was more like, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen," and they kind of just rolled it out nonchalantly.
I'm sorry, downers. Oh, don't want to. I'm sorry.
It was like you're looking up my. It was look like you're looking up my nose, huh?
Clowns. You guys are clowning. All right, well, move on to something else also involving VR, the next topic. Now, this one's involving Nintendo, and there's a report going around that the Switch could get some kind of a VR enhancement. Now, supposedly Nintendo Labo kits will be the first getting VR support, and that a small number of first-party games will get VR modes. Now, guys, do you think Nintendo intends to get VR on the Switch? Do you think that's a possibility?
Oh,
a Labo VR? I guess it's like a cardboard thing. Well, Samsung's done it. Did they do like a cardboard like type of
Yeah, that thing's a piece. That thing's a piece of shit. They're giving off for free, but yeah, it's a possibility. The Switch is built for VR. If you think about it already. It has the controllers. It has the motion sensor on it with the controllers. It's built for VR. So is Labo. I don't know if you guys... I have kids, so I purchased the Labo for my kids. And it takes a good 2 or 3 hours to build these cardboard motherfuckers. You know, whether it's a fishing pole or a robot or a steering wheel. And my son took 2 hours trying to build... the Labo. It's work. It's definitely work. It's like Legos kind of. But when you finally get it set up and you finally play it, it's actually a cool. It's kind of a cool gimmick. And
try it down there.
Yeah, I did try. You guys, I have some video. I have some video actually of me trying it. So I think I'll post it. I gotta post it, but I'm kind of getting off topic with the whole Nintendo VR. Yeah, it's built for VR already, and I think you can see something if Nintendo makes something that's affordable. I don't know how they would do it with the Switch, whether you plug it into a VR unit and you'd have to carry the Switch in your pocket. Who knows? That's kind of cumbersome, and it'd be kind of awkward too if you think about it. So how would they do it? I mean, it kind of doesn't make sense on how they would implement it, but
what about if they made an update to the console, something similar to like the 3DS, what that had with like a mode where you can switch, like, I don't know. Well, actually, I guess that's 3D, but like some kind of a mode where you can, I don't know, like you'd either have to do an attachment or...
Yeah, that's the problem with it, is doing the attachment. do you put the heavy Switch console inside inside a pair of glasses where it kind of alters the experience? I mean, it's the controllers are built for VR. The technology's there, but I don't know if the Switch system in itself is ready for VR. So who knows?
Well, yeah, we know that it's not exactly the most powerful console out there, but as you said, it has the controllers to do it, and you never know, they could come out with a peripheral to add on to it that could, yeah, have VR capabilities to enhance the console. I'm very curious where they'll take this, because Nintendo, they've always been kind of playing with VR in some capacity. So it's just interesting they play around with 3D, VR. They always have their hand in something. So I'll be curious to see what experiences they bring us, because they're very ingenuitive that way. Now,
Nintendo come out with a VR before Microsoft. I really want Microsoft to like try something with VR. Man. I hope so. That's all I got to say, man. I know I'll keep beating this thing over and over again, but I really want them to come out with a VR headset or something.
I think they will. It's an eventuality. Like, they kind of toy around with the idea, but as Phil's kind of stated, it's not the first thing on their mind. And they kind of got a lot going on with the whole like cross-play and God knows what else. But moving on. So, sticking with some more Nintendo news. Now, in a surprise announcement, Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Amie announced that he's retiring. Very shocking. And after 15 years at Nintendo of America, he'll be replaced by marketing VP, the appropriately named Doug Bowser. Bowser, guys. And
Bowser.
Bowser. Yeah.
I wonder if he has a princess locked up somewhere.
He probably has some mushrooms somewhere.
Yeah. Well, being up in the Pacific Northwest,
But anyways, Reggie is a gaming household name, and at this point, he's steered Nintendo through the GameCube, Wii, 3DS, Wii U, mobile, and of course the Switch. Now, guys, how do you feel about Reggie retiring? Do you think he'll be missed at Nintendo? And
he'll definitely be missed.
He's going to be
at
missed
the same time, man. He's going to be missed. He's going to be missed. I mean, that's all I've seen his face for 15 years. I mean, now
I've met Reggie a couple times. I had a chance to talk with him. I remember when he joined Nintendo back in 2003. I think his official title was President of Sales and Marketing, something like that. But he was a great spokesman and face for Nintendo. And you guys remember those E3 presentations with him going on stage, and he was refreshing to, from, if you guys seen those old E3 conferences and interviews, a lot of them were really dull and just kind of boring, especially with the presenters and the CEOs in the company and the presidents of the company. Reggie was a marketer of the Nintendo brand. He did a great job representing Nintendo, and he's done a lot of good things since then. I don't think there's any bad blood between him and Nintendo. He was with the company for a long time. How many people can say that with his role? How many people can say that about about what they did for the company? You can't say many, right?
No, you can't. How would you guys think though if like he left and went to work for another company?
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Would it make you think that he was like kind of asked to step down, or he just
hell no? He's going out on top.
But you guys remember Sony, before he came aboard, Sony was in a bad spot. They just came off the struggling GameCube. Even more
Nintendo.
I'm sorry, Nintendo. Nintendo was struggling, with the PlayStation 2 and then the Xbox console. But during that time, they transitioned, and Nintendo became a really profitable company during his time. They're still profitable as heck. And I remember his all-time quote, "I'm about kicking ass, taking names, and making games." And it was just refreshing to see somebody say that in a E3 presentation. So that's what I remember about him. And again, I had a chance to meet him a couple of times. Great guy.
Did you offer him a Snickers or to see his shoe size?
What?
Oh, Invader, you don't know the story. Tim loves to tell it. Tim.
Wow.
Tell the story for our beautiful listeners.
All we know is that the first time we
We'll
met
get the popcorn.
Jeremy, he was giving us Snickers, and we're like, "Who the hell is this guy giving us Snickers?" And basically,
Candyman.
Dude, Mega, I only had 2 Snickers in my pocket, and I forgot who I gave one to. I think I gave one to Tim. Of course he fucking
gave one to me and Sal.
Of course he accepted it.
and
then he goes up behind Phil and he's like, "Phil,
what's your shoe size?
What size shoe you wear? Let me guess, 9.5." Hey, Phil looked at him like, "Who the fuck?"
Put him in a print box.
Hey, but anyway, Phil ended up saying he's all, "No, I wear 10.5." I'm like, okay, cool. So,
it looked totally like, "What size shoe you wear, baby?"
Oh,
Mas puto.
No, but he definitely an icon, and very surprising that he left the way he did. I mean, he left just out of the blue, so it was pretty shocking. But yeah, the industry loses a really good one, and I just hope he wherever he goes, if he's completely retiring, that's good, because I believe that sometimes you got to retire in life, and if you don't retire, sometimes you just end up working till you know.
He's probably gonna get one of them golden parachutes. You know what I mean? He'll get a nice severance package, not severance, but retirement package.
He doesn't need a retirement package.
Yeah, he's rich.
What? So you think that he won't get more money? Shit.
No, I guarantee you, he owns probably about
some shares. 11%
of Nintendo.
A guy like him, they would, I'm sure that when just out the door, they're giving him some type of crazy deal.
He's a great guy. I just hope he's leaving out on his own terms.
Yeah, I think he's
ready to retire.
Why would you want him? Why would it unless if there's no talk of foul play, there's no talk of any kind of him being disgruntled. He probably, like he said in his video, which is a tremendous video, and he talks about it. He just wants to be with his family. So sometimes that happens.
That's awesome.
I'm looking at the chat right now, and Inferno brings up a great point. Well, actually South did, but he's going out on top. So that's the best thing. I think he left.
Why did you take my credit, fucker?
I'm sorry.
As long as he's not walking out of his office, flipping his desk. It's all good.
Obviously, his body is ready.
Exactly. The famous meme.
April 15th is his last day in Nintendo.
That's the way I learned about him, to be honest. I was like, I always saw his picture on the internet, and they would say, "My body is ready," and I'm like, "Who is this guy?" And this is way back, even when that first started, and that's how I actually found out who he was. And I'm telling you, Nintendo fans, and I have a couple of my family, they're like diehard. They love that guy, and losing him for the other guy. I don't know the other guy. The other guy seems like he's out of place, but obviously you feel that way when you're trying to fill his shoes.
Well, apparently before he worked at Nintendo a couple of years ago, he worked at EA. So better.
You know what's crazy? How many former EA workers going on to lead a company? I mean,
what's up with Peter Moore, man? You think shit would get better over there under Peter, but I don't know.
Peter's gone.
No, I know.
He's not there anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
He's playing soccer in Europe.
I think EA is in a bad place right now. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with BioWare and that stuff, but they just don't seem like they're in the best spots. I don't think that they're as
the same could be said for
Reggie's gonna come and
Activision, too.
knocking. Knock knock. Who's there, Reggie?
They could
to take over EA.
Well, you never know.
You know that this is something I heard that was a little shocking is that the talk of Xbox buying EA wasn't as far fetched as people were saying. Like there was actual interest there from what I heard. Obviously that's secondhand, but
I bet you they're not regretting it now.
Yeah, they're probably happy that.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. Because I mean, if they would have bought it, it would have been ran differently, and it could have been a different outcome.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with the sports games? You're going to put them on everything. It kind of ties into what they're doing, but I don't think Xbox should buy EA by anything, but it's just crazy that how that could actually might be something looked at, because I just have the feeling EA is
EA needs to make a baseball game.
Yeah, they just don't seem like, I don't know. They're doing well, I guess, with the Madden and stuff, but seems like they get
Madden is always guaranteed to sell 2 million copies or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but how much do they got to pay the NFL and Madden for the IP and the naming rights and all that? I mean, how much money is really in it?
Yeah,
just amazing that they seem to I don't know. They seem to just harm themselves by the way that they talk to the consumer, by rushing out games, bad marketing,
by not returning their shards in Anthem.
No, it's a very weird company. Tim's right. They are in a very weird place right now, and who knows? You might see some shakeups soon because obviously things are not going well there, I would say. But we're in the getting towards the end of the show. Everybody, what have you been playing for the past week?
Dude, well, you guys know I've been playing Anthem hard, 24 hours in. I'm almost finished with Metro. I'm on the last map. Amazing title, great game. I suggest you pick up both. I think I'm gonna try a little Hollow Knight tonight. I've been wanting to play that game, so it's kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest. A little bit. It's a platforming game, but I might play that tonight. But I'm looking forward to Division 2.
What day does it drop?
I think next month on the 11th, right?
Well, I knew it was in March, but I didn't know
something like that.
Is Mortal Kombat? When's Mortal Kombat come out? Is that in March too?
May, I think.
No, it's April 25th, I think.
Yeah.
23rd or 20th or something like that, around there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Division. I think it's going to be a good game. And that's pretty much all I'm playing right now.
I've been playing that Crackdown, man. Getting the boom into that. I played some Friday, some Saturday, and then that Anthem.
I haven't touched that game, Crackdown.
It's a good game, man. You gotta play it.
Oh, you got
it.
Hey, it's funny, after initial everybody, hating on it and talking a bunch of shit, the more people have gotten time with it, it seemed like the less shit's been talked about it too.
It's not a bad game. It's just
it never was. But the thing is, people expected GTA out of it, and it's like, no, it's a Crackdown game. It's in a whole category by itself. It's not gonna,
I think people just wanted to, a higher production value in it. They just wanted something better from Crackdown.
It's always going to be cell shading, and it's never going to be photorealistic.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about putting more effort in the story, putting, cinematic cutscenes in it, not with this comic book bullshit that doesn't cost any money to do. Just put some money behind Crackdown, make it a better product, and put some devs that know what the hell to do with it. I mean,
I'll say this though. I mean, it's not like it's a bug-ridden game. I've had zero or very little issues playing the game. Actually, I'm really surprised with it that I'm enjoying it so much. It's just a really good experience. It's smooth. I like it. I get no frame rate stuttering. The visuals, I mean, they're all right. They're appropriate for the shell setting, but I see what you mean, though, Jeremy. They could have stepped up the game a bit with the cinematics and whatnot, but the voice acting's pretty decent in it.
I know, and you guys are gonna be like, "What? Why would you compare it to this?" But Crackdown reminds me of Pac-Man, and what I mean, you know, what I mean by that. Hey, wait, come on, guys. What I mean by that is
cut his mic.
Yeah.
what I mean by that is you just pick up, you play, you have fun, you get to the next level, and it's addicting. And you know, and that's what Crackdown is. It's a fun it's a fun experience. You just get to go in there and just blow shit up and drive and do whatever you want. It's a sandbox game. It's that type of experience, and I think they, you know, the original was the same thing. You know, they did a good job of mastering that 10 seconds of fun with Crackdown, with the platforming and the orb collecting and the shoot. Yeah, 10 seconds. That's what my wife says. But anyway.
Well, you know, for me, you know, it really reminds me of Demon Souls, and combined with some asteroids with Crackdown 3.
Oh yeah, totally. And really, that's what.
Kidding.
I was being sarcastic, Tim.
No. I've been playing I've been playing Crackdown 3, and it is like everyone says, it's fun. It's nice to pick up and play.
Yeah.
The co-op is fun as hell too. Man.
I could see why reviewers went after it a little. For me, it's about a 7. It's not a high AAA quality, what you would expect from even Xbox. They you know, it's kind of a little. While the HDR looks good and some of the explosions are cool and stuff like that, it still looks like a you know, $40 game to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
And I just feel that, you know, they got past it. And it's probably better that they did it this way than what they were thinking of. There was they could possibly, you know, from what I heard, they were saying, "Hey, let's release it after Gears 5, so it won't be getting such a, you know, because of where they're releasing it and the quality of games that they had released. You know, if you had Gears 5 and you're on the you know, the footsteps of that, or, you know, and that just released and it's a really good game, and you solidified your studio. I think that the outcome or the take on the game would have been a lot different. It would have pointed to it being fun as a way. Where it launched, it was kind of like a highlight for Xbox's problems with first party, and it kind of hurt it in that aspect. I believe people took shots at it and whatnot.
Yeah, I think Crackdown transitions. Well, it's the end of the old Xbox era, I'll tell you that, and we're transitioning into a new era with everything that Phil wants to do and it's Phil's vision. And I think we're in for a surprise E3. I hope we are. I think we're in for a surprise, and I think the future's bright with xCloud and the upcoming, you know, first party titles. I think Gears is going to be a better entry than 4. Actually, a lot better entry than 4. And then the same goes for Halo Infinite. I think you're going to see, you know, just stellar first party quality titles coming out with, especially from the new acquisitions that Xbox made. I think they're committed to developing just, you know, quality product moving forward, and I think they're in a good place. And you know, that's why I haven't been really harping. I've been talking about, you know, who more often, but I haven't been down on Xbox for a while now, besides Crackdown, because I know they're in a better place now than they were even last year and the prior years, and that's it.
Well, it'll be interesting once we start to see Phil Spencer's games. Like, that's the last of Don Matrix games, you know? So I'm excited to see what Phil's visions for his games are in his studios and so on. It'll just be, I don't know, I'm just really excited to where Xbox is heading from now. And E3, hopefully we get to see something from Ninja Theory, Playground. Who knows? Like, hopefully they're working on Fable. And yeah, I'm just excited. You know, there's a lot of good positive energy right now coming out of the community and going forward.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. And with all that said, guys, it is now the end of this edition of the show. And a giant thank you to all of you that were active in the chat and listening in. And before you leave, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for future TXR fantastic content. And now time for the outros. I think Southbound just kind of quit out at the moment. But Mr. Downer, where can everyone find you?
I'm going to state again like I did last week. You can't find me. I'm everywhere but nowhere. How about that?
So you're a ninja.
I'm a ninja.
All right. Cool. All right, we'll just leave it at that then if you don't want to say. Megatron, where can people reach you, bud?
Twitter, Megatron_1975, and hit me up on Xbox Live. Let's play some games. Megatron 1 is my gamer score.
No, you don't play games, buddy.
Gamer tag.
Actually, you play games for like 10 minutes and then you fall asleep. So I don't know.
Man, it's been a struggle with work, man. It's true. I've been trying to play. I'm going to play tonight, though. I'll be playing tonight, but
so fans, if you want to hear Megatron snoring, jump in his party chat.
True. It's true.
Well, we got to get a TXR hangout going on Xbox one of these days. We got to arrange that.
If you guys want to play Anthem tonight, let's go.
Yeah, let's play. I'm down.
Let's play tonight.
I cannot, unfortunately, because I got to go to bed right after this because of work. But, you know, some of us have to be contributing members to society.
I'm definitely not. That's true.
Yeah, you are the downer. Tim, where can people follow you?
You can follow me basically on Twitter at BeastFireTimDog. That's also my yes, that is also my gamer tag. So if you want to send a follow or a friend invite, make sure you do. If you listen to the show, put a comment so I know, so I'll friend you back. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, and South is not here, but hey, you can find me, Invader, on Twitter at Invader_1986, and of course on YouTube at Invader Gaming. And that is the end of the show, guys. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate all the nice comments in the chat. We hope to see you on the next show, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, I can do Southbound's outro. Hey, it's Southbound.
Oh man.
All right.
Peace.
All right, we out of here.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Jeremy, for that. Later, guys. It's been great.